it has been kind of stormy overnight, but tell you what, I'm just looking at the Star Studio. There is sunshine. Now, something that brings out the sunshine in all of us is thankfulness. It's good to be grateful and thankful. And thankfulness is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger you get. Ferg Turnbull is behind Thankfulness Week. It's this week, and he joins us on the show today to encourage us to be thankful. Good morning. Welcome to the program, Ferg.
Good morning, Lizzie. Thanks for having me on.
Now, something on your website, begreat.co.nz, you talked about 3 things that you're grateful for. So as I was preparing this morning at home, I was looking around and I'm like, what am I grateful for today? And I thought, well, I was grateful for that person who just picked up my rubbish, the big truck that came down the road.
Yeah.
I was grateful for my heat pump that was keeping me warm, and I was grateful for my cat because he's full of unconditional love for me.
Oh, that's so good.
What about you,
And
Ferg?
how did you feel after you did that?
Good. I felt good. And, something I think about thankfulness, and we talk a lot about this sort of thing on the show. I have Julia Grace on the show quite a bit. We're talking about being kind to your mind and being good for your mental health. But that's really one of the biggest benefits, isn't it, Ferg, that it helps our minds, our mental and emotional well-being?
Yeah, definitely. The actions that we have in our life are directed by our perspective, the way that we look at things. So however we inform the way that we look at things, our perspective changes our actions, and thankfulness changes our perspective. It's very easy to focus on negative things. The news is full of negativity. We're drawn to it like moths to a candle. And there's also lots of things that we want through advertising. But when you think about thankfulness, the things you're thankful for, like the rubbish truck this morning, there are countries around the world that don't have rubbish trucks. The rubbish just
Exactly.
piles up on the side of the road and
I
it
know.
stinks.
Yeah.
And so that's something to be thankful for, but we miss it because we're used to it. But thankfulness helps us see them.
Yeah. So you're encouraging us this week. I mean, I know you got a website that's full of plenty of ideas, but just each day to stop and be aware of 3 things. That's a good place to start, Ferg.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest encouragement would be, and the challenge to you would be to all of us, is to set a reminder and have a go at it every day. Write down or think about 3 things you're thankful for and why. The why really expounds on it.
Okay.
And when we do that, it's kind of like KiwiSaver for the soul.
Ah,
You're building up a little bit of an investment every day that has this big result at the end,
yeah.
positivity and feeling better.
Yeah, I like what you say because it's the same of any good habit, whether it's, reading your Bible,
Totally.
cleaning your teeth, doing your exercise. You get all these long-term benefits from it, but you've got to make that commitment. So, I was encouraged this morning just from that. But the other thing is, I think, is when you're going through, and I'll put my hand up to admit this, something that's challenging, and whether it's a sort of a work problem you've got or a relational one or some, just whatever. We've all got things that your mind, I've found my mind can get quite stuck on that and kind of ruminate,
Yes.
And what I've also found though is if you are being thankful, it's almost like it dilutes my concern about the issue. It doesn't make it go away, but it just sort of readjusts as you were talking about, perspective. That's a way that it can help us, Ferg.
Yeah, well, thankfulness is great as putting your mind in a solution mindset, I suppose, becoming solutions focused. Because when you start thinking, hey, I'm in this tough situation, but I can think, I've got a brain, I've got a phone, I can call for help, I can think of solutions, I've got hands that can help me solve this thing. You start feeling empowered, and that's the really great thing about it. The other thing is realizing that not everything is terrible and going down the drains. There's this great story from Corrie Ten Boom when she's in a concentration camp with her sister, and there is nothing to be thankful for. That she's telling her sister that, Betsy, and Betsy says, no, there's always something to be thankful for. You've just got to look hard enough.
Wow.
And Corrie just said to herself, there is nothing, there can be nothing. And what they ended up coming up with was knits, because the knits kept the guards away and it meant that they could still have their worship time.
Wow.
And so there is always something, and hopefully our lives will never get to that place, but there is always something to be thankful for.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's many reasons why it's good to do that. Like you say, it's going to strengthen us mentally and emotionally. But I'm thinking it actually makes us a better person to be around too, doesn't it, Ferg?
Oh, Oh yeah, 100%. You know, when you thought of the things you were thankful for this morning, I bet you were smiling more than before. I bet your eyes had a little bit more light in them. And so thankfulness is contagious like that. I grew up with, thankful people and it was contagious to me. And so that was and those people had parents that were like that. And so that was so great. And so this is why we want to do this every day is also to spread light out into our world.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Now, you've got a website full of resources on this. Just tell us something about that, Ferg.
Yeah, it's called begreat.co.nz. So to help Kiwis become more thankful, we've got resources like videos where I talk about how to, about thankfulness, how powerful it is, how to put it into effect. There are posters you can print out as reminders on your wall. We've got free bumper stickers and school curriculum. It's really just loaded with a whole lot of free stuff to be able to help us put this habit into place.
Mm. There was one thing I did spot on there. Is there something about writing a letter? A thankful.
Oh yeah,
Tell us about
I'm
that.
so I'm so glad you mentioned this. There was a test at Berkeley University and in the States, and they were talking about how thankfulness and gratitude can be great for increasing felt levels of happiness. And the most powerful thing you can do is write a letter of gratitude and send it to someone. And the incredible thing is, even if you don't send it, which would be a shame, but even if you don't send it, you feel so much better for this really long time afterwards.
I really like that. That's a great idea. And what a nice thing to do for somebody out of the blue. I have to admit, and this isn't me scouting for letters, but sometimes a listener will send a really nice email or a text or a letter or, send something in the post. You're like, wow, you went out of your way to do that in your busy life. And it's just such a blessing. So, yeah, let's share the love, share the thankfulness. And if you want to find out more, get some good ideas. But just as Ferg and I have been discussing, take a moment to think of the things today, the three things. Just start with three that you can be thankful for. begreat.co.nz. Ferg Turnbull, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Lizzie. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for joining us today. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you can catch all our interviews on Star. See you next time.